Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are having a good Wednesday. I will be sharing my screen now, and then I will be showing you guys a video. And afterwards, Princess will be so kind to share her valuation tips for us while driving. She's a queen of multitasking. And then, we'll take it further from there. So let me share my screen.
The story is about Team Sky, which is Great Britain's professional cycling team. Sometime in the mid-2000s, around 2010, they hired a man named Dave Brailsford. And at the time, Team Sky had a very middle-of-the-road record when it came to performance on the world stage. They had won about 1 gold medal in the last 100 years, from 1908 to 2008. They had never won a Tour de France, the premier event in cycling. And when they hired Dave Brailsford, they said, we would like to change this. We'd like to improve our performance. We'd like to reach a higher level of performance. What's your plan to help us do that? And when they hired Brailsford, he said, I have this strategy called the aggregation of marginal gains. And the way that he described it was the 1% improvement in nearly everything that you do. And so they started by looking at a lot of things you would expect a cycling team to look at. They improved their bike tires, made them slightly lighter. They put a more ergonomic seat on the bike. They had their riders wear biofeedback sensors so they could see how each person responded to the training and practice that they did each day. They had their outdoor riders wear indoor racing suits because they were lighter and more aerodynamic. But then they did a variety of things that you wouldn't expect a cycling team to do. They split tested different types of massage gels to see which one led to the best form of recovery. They taught their riders how to wash their hands to reduce the risk of infection and keep them healthy. They even figured out what kind of pillow led to the best night's sleep for each rider and then brought that on the road with them to hotels. So Brailsford said, if we can actually execute on this strategy, if we can aggregate all these small changes, these little 1% improvements, then I think we can win the Tour de France in about 5 years. He ended up being wrong. They won the Tour de France in 3 years, and then they repeated again the 4th year with a different rider. And then just last year, they won for the 3rd time in 4 years. And Brailsford's strategy really came to fruition at the Olympics in London in 2012, when they won 70% of the gold medals available. And so what I'd like to start us off with is the idea that small improvements actually can add up to a very significant change in a relatively short period of time. And this is just basic math, all right? If you get 1% better each day over 365 days, you end up 37 times better at the end of the year. If you get 1% worse, you take yourself almost all the way down to 0. Now, you might say, okay, well, 1% improvements are nice, but clearly no one is going to get 1% better every single day. So is that ever enough to accumulate to anything, considering that we're not going to be perfect all the time? And I would argue, yes. In fact, you can get 10 times better if you get 1% better 5 days a week, 46 weeks a year, so it's about 230 days in total. That gives you 6 weeks off for holidays, illness, laziness, and just generally not getting things done. But you're still 10 times better at the end of the year. And what I would like to propose is that the way to do this is not by setting better goals for ourselves or at our organizations, but by building better systems and obtaining better habits. In fact, you could say that the goal had never changed. They wanted to win a Tour de France each year. They wanted to win Olympic gold medals. It wasn't the goal that made the difference. Instead, it was their system, the way that they applied those improvements in a 1% basis day after day.
Yeah, so I'm a big believer of the 1% better every day. But it's nice that he gives us a bit of a slack time. So if you are 1% better 5 times a day or 5 times a week, then you still, at the end of the year, get 10 times better. So sometimes, or a lot of the times, we think we need to change our goals and we have to make our goals bigger and better and more detailed, but actually it's the system towards the goal that needs to be changed, and you need to try to be 1% better every day. And that is actually not, it's a very reachable goal. Like if you did 1 call yesterday, I'm not good at maths, but if you did 1 call yesterday, you do 2 calls today, you're already feeling good about yourself because you're being 1% better every day. So yeah, I think that video can resonate with a few of us. Princess, I'm going to hand over to you now. Just remember to unmute your mic.
My lovely cover page. Let me flick it to the side there. Okay, so today I just wanted to have a little chat about valuations and basically how you can prep for one, because I do think this is like a big marketing strategy. Everything we do from last time, Shanae and I did like a social media canvassing thing and like how to basically generate leads. So once you've done all that, if you haven't watched that video or you weren't able to attend that seminar, make sure you go and watch that and then you can come back to this. But basically, once you generate that lead, your outcome of that lead is to get a valuation, whether they're looking to sell or they're just interested in knowing how the market is performing. You need to get into that house. Like, I hate to say it, all the old people were so correct. Face-to-face interaction will always beat social media. Like, you can post as many reels as you want, but the main goal is to get in front of their faces. So once they say, a client says, yes, oh my gosh, Princess, please come through my house. I'm not looking to sell. I just would love to see what the market is going like. And they invite you over. Immediately, I'm already like, you most likely do want to sell, but you obviously don't want to say it, because no one is letting a stranger inside of their house to inspect and judge them unless they're like actually going to think, they're like thinking about it at the back of their head. So you need to go in there with the mentality of not actually selling their house. Like, you're not actually going in there to sell their house, because if you start sales pitching, I don't think they'll like you very much. So you need to go in there and you just have to be really, really, really nice. You're gonna make them feel like the most important person in the world, no matter how terrible their house looks. Tell them it's so amazing and you think that they're a home interior designer. Like, you love their couch, it looks so vintage. Meantime, it looks like someone's granny's couch. It doesn't matter. You just need to really make them feel important and valued. Because even before you walk in, you just gotta come in, like I've got to tell you, yeah, before you go into the house, I highly recommend you bring in a Lightstone report. That would be number one essential. Sorry, I almost messed up with that. Anyways, as I was saying, you need to bring a Lightstone report. We all have access to these. I don't know what systems everyone's company uses, but we use Lightstone, and it basically will show you a summary of you just see a nice little summary of what the house involves, like how much it's worth, how much they bought for, and their bond. Alternately, we need to figure that out in order to know if they owe this much, if they actually can sell. I would always recommend just doing your research just a tad bit. So once you do get the Lightstone, you're going to walk in and you're going to present it to them. But before you even start speaking about the property, as soon as you walk into the house, like I said, try and walk around, have a conversation with them, get to know them as a person, and not really like you're trying to sell their house. You are selling basically yourself, if anything. That is why on my front cover, you see a big picture of myself. It's me. I want you to remember me, form a relationship with me, because at the end of the day, I'm the one who is going to be like, I want to work with you as a person, not really as a salesperson, because in this, there's so many real estate agents out there. It's really sickening. We have such a high competition, and in this field of a lack of sellers, I'm telling you, you really need to stand out, and the only way to stand out is really just to use your personality. So you're going to go in there and basically make friends with them. You need to make friends with them. I don't care if there's like a 40-year-old age gap, you'll find a way. Talk about literally anything and everything. Educate yourself on topics, and also mainly educate yourself also on property topics, because as much as you're making friends, you're still in business and you need to show that you know what's happening in the area. So make sure you know exactly how much places are going for per square meter. For instance, like how much is the pricing for the more high end, the lower end. Brush up on like stuff like the granite tops and like flooring and what the price of the area, know about what's happening around here, other developments. Just be able to talk about topics that happen as well as they try and make conversation on that. Oh, like, oh my gosh, the housing crisis in Cape Town is insane. I know in CBD town, Airbnbs are taking over the rentals. People can't find rentals. Just like find a way to talk about stuff like that. Just brush up on facts about the country, like just what's happening in the economy. I'm not saying become an economist, but just know a lot about what is happening around you so that you're able to talk about it. So once you've got a couple facts you can talk about, you've got your Lightstone report, which I don't really print it. I mean, I know a lot of agents print it, but I think that's the waste of paper. So I just always bring my laptop and we go through it on my laptop. And it's usually towards the end because my evaluations take me about 1 hour, 30 minutes to about 2 hours. Because in the beginning, I really am getting to know this person. I feel like I'm on a first date. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm asking them questions. I'm asking them about their lives because I need to know, is this person looking to sell now, maybe later? But also, you need to be able to follow up and speak to them. The first, I never come fully prepared with like a whole booklet and everything printed because my main goal is to come back the second time. I need these people to see me as many times as humanly possible. If there's an excuse for me to see them, I'm going to see them. The other week, I literally did evaluation. Once I did evaluation, I messaged the owners in that area and I said, oh, I'm actually around. Could I come by and drop off like a calendar? I did like calendar jobs for the new year. I've got some spare. Would you like one? And I went in and I gave them a calendar and we had a little chat, caught up. You know, you've seen an excuse to be inside the neighborhood. Not to mention, once you do get to the nitty-gritty part and you are speaking about the property, price counseling, I think last week we had a price counseling session, or was the week before, but one of the weeks we had a price counseling thingy, and it's really, really important. This is where you start impressing them with your knowledge. Now you're showing them, I know what's happening in the area. I know my stuff. I can do my calculations. That's when you know the information about per square meter. This is what's going for this. Then now they're like, okay, so she actually knows her stuff. She knows the deal. She's showing me images, what's on the market, how long it's been sitting. She also has this Lightstone report which shows like what's happening in the deeds office, what's actually registered. You know, you're giving them insights and you're adding value because the minute they feel like they're not getting value from you, that's when they'll start like either choose a different agent or they'll drop your comp like crazy, which is ridiculous. So you really need to now sell yourself essentially because now you've made friends, they like your personality, haha, and acknowledge not everyone's gonna like you. Sometimes I walk into the house and they're a bit stone cold, but I have this thing where I like it, I see it as a challenge, so I will make you like me and ask them questions about themselves and encourage them to speak about themselves, and then you just like boost their ego a bit, you're good. And I think you're good. So, and also on that, obviously splitting your facts and you know what's happening in the area, you've done your research, you've seen what's on the market, etc. Put that all into a compilation. And that's only on visit one, hey? So once you have done the first visit, you'll go home, conduct your market analysis. You'll reach out after 1 or 2 days and be like, hi, thank you once again for like reaching out and having me in your home. Blah blah, compliment them, and then you will be like, your valuation booklet is complete. Can I drop it off today? It's my format. Everyone does it differently. Please, I'm not saying my way is the highway. It's not. Just pick whichever way works best for you. Some people don't like so many colors and pictures, which is fair. I'm a visual person. I like the aesthetics, and it's just my marketing techniques. That's why there's so much color. But you'll go into the second visit and you'll drop it off. Then you hand it over to them and they can put it on their desk. I don't care if people say to email. I mean, sometimes I do email it to them. I do electronic copy. Read the room. Usually the older generation love this stuff. The younger ones, not so much. I had to tell me they don't need to print it. It's just too much clutter. Okay. It's just that if someone walks into the house, or they're thinking of selling and they look at your book like, oh my gosh, or just randomly they just come across it and they see my face, tick. Like, yay. So make sure it's pretty. It must be pretty. I would hate to receive a booklet and it's just a bunch of words. I'm not reading that. It's just a lot. But everyone has different personalities, I guess. But it must also still be factual, but pretty. What happens is that you stay in touch. After you've met them the second time, you pop in. If you know it's a hot lead, I would text them every week or two. Hi, just checking in. How you doing? How the kids? How's the cat? Whatever the fuck you want to talk about at the valuation. Find the topic. You'll speak about that. Just checking in. You give them a call. In this case, I am pro calling. I hate cold calling, but if I've been in your house and we've chatted for 2 hours and I've visited you the second time, I'm comfortable enough to call you, and I don't think it's weird. On the other hand, on their side, to receive a call from me. But if you really still have anxiety, it's okay. Don't call them then. Like, you can pop them a message, but I do think it's better if they hear your voice after a couple of times, just so they don't forget you. Like, life happens. No matter how memorable you can be, people can forget you. It's sad, but it's true. But if you don't and follow up with them. Some other agents, probably not even as good as you or anything, will message them at the right time on the right day and get that mandate from you, and you win and then get the valuation. So follow up. And then I just have this page where I write a list to them, just thanking them for allowing me into their home, and then just like an estimate how much the market, I would say the marketing price of the property is, and just letting them know like, hey, this is an estimate, not the market. I don't decide the price, it's the market. So this is just what we've seen with the CRMs and the trends, just like T's and C's, just mind you. And then I always like to add something like working with me, for instance, like what you can expect. I do professional photography. If you don't do that, then just don't add that. It's okay. Just don't add that part. I do professional photography, blah, blah, blah. And then I just always mention how I will do, for instance, we're coming for evaluation, we'll discuss a negotiable price for you. And then for, you know, the whole nitty gritty, sign all the documents, and just blah, 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 blah. I'll do all the listings until obviously we get an offer. Even after we do get an offer, I'll still continue to do viewings just until the deal is finally in. Like once it's finally gone through, we all know just because you got an offer does not mean the deal is like a yoga. So yeah. And then yeah, I just give them a step to step what they can expect from me, and it's that simple. It's that simple. Just hey, I'll do the whole moving thing, buy them a gift, blah blah blah. And this is where I just put the Lightstone report. I just snap it in there. Some people have time to screenshot, crop, blah, blah, blah. Too much work. I mean, you can, but I'm okay. There you go. You see the property. You see how much like overhead and everything. Like you can. I think you will see this. Like you all know what a report looks like. You know, at this time we've already gone through all of this, so I'm just giving it to him for his own keeping, just so he can keep it for the records. And everything in here is a talking point, by the way. Like you can talk in detail about the graph trends and about everything. Just be able to go through it. I do recommend doing some training if you don't know how to go through it. Do some training on how to speak about a lifestyle report, because it will make you look like a smarty pants. And yeah, I mean, sometimes you don't need to, because a lot of times people just like your vibe if they don't need it, but it depends what you're doing. Some people are big on that. And then yeah, I just put the price positioning and how much I position for on the listing price. And with the listing price, I always put listing price, expected offers, so we can go back in the beginning. If they shout at me afterwards, be like, Princess, but I don't want to cut under my thing. I'm like, wow, in the valuation, let's go back. I did say you can expect offers between this amount, just to humble them, just to bring them back to reality. And I just put there like in market value. Like I always just put that there. Like the listing price. Yeah, so this is just like for fun sakes, just so afterwards they can read on it on their own. Like I have already spoken about this, but factors influencing price positioning, I really do also recommend you speak about this with them. Stuff like the property specs, like the earth number, all these numbers you would have to work out, obviously, because it is your area, so you can't really copy and paste. And then you'll add like market conditions, and like that's my and then stand down and then talk a lot about what's happening in the area. And then just like the location and the estate, like these are all things you can just talk about, and like financial stuff. After that, I always just put, I think this is my last page. Sure, it is my last page. It's like, how is the value of the property determined? I always tell them like your location is big, neighborhood, because a lot of people live in like a low end area with like a low LSM, and then they want to price their property like the neighboring high income area. Like, no, it doesn't look like that. Yeah, just tell them about the condition, like whether it's modern, outdated, you know, the number of bedrooms, etc., the area, the earth, like all those stuff, security, all those stuff does play in a role when it comes to pricing. And then like how I determine like the true market things, I always tell them properties withdrawn, properties for sale, and properties for, like sold. I just tell them the exact process, so they don't think I just like thumb sucked everything. I mean, I just like to add this for fun, just like a transfer, so they know in case they are looking to move somewhere else, so they can know the up-to-date like transfer costs on their properties, etc. And then I also add like their bond costs, and then where I market, and then last but not least, my social media.
I know a lot of agents also learned a lot, so thank you so much for that.
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
So yes, did you want to say something, Princess?
No, it's like any questions. That's all.
Oh yes, any questions, please go ahead for Princess. Etienne has a hand up. Unmute your mic and speak.
Sorry guys, it seems like I'm getting so old I've forgotten how to unmute myself. How's it everybody? So I want to find out from you guys. I was in a bit of an awkward situation with a client over the phone yesterday in regards to the information that's available via CMA. And we didn't yet use Lightstone, unfortunately, but for the time being, I have access to CMA. That's it. And this guy, he lives in Stellenbosch on the outskirts, and the CMA evaluated his home at around, I think it was 700,000 rand max, and he told me over the phone that he got his home valuated by a bank, like so professional valuators, and they said 2 million. And so like that's just one example of like how off the value estimate is from the CMA that we use. And it's not the first encounter or time that that's happened to me. I just want to find out from you guys, like, is there is it maybe better to switch to Lightstone, or do you think that's just one of those things where it happens once a while?
From my side, so I use CMA and Lightstone. Obviously, Lightstone is our main one. Our CMA, we purchased a subscription separately. But I mean, CMA has been perfectly fine for me. If I only work with CMA, I basically get to the same price bracket than I get to when using Lightstone. But for the time being, because you guys don't have Lightstone at the moment, you are more than welcome to send me a message and send me the address. Say, can you just have a look at this, or download a report for me from Lightstone and send it to me, and I'll send it to you gladly. Just to double check those numbers.
Sorry,
I
awesome. Thank you so much. Sorry.
Using both is also a good way, because sometimes CMA has things that Lightstone doesn't. Like I know I always ask someone else. I think Michelle, for instance, one of my mentors, she has CMA and I use hers just to double check. It's always good. I think both are very useful, but I wouldn't use one or the other. But Lightstone is the main one, but you can always double check and use both.
So if anyone has any questions, you can raise your hands and unmute yourself. Otherwise, if anyone had any wins for the week, let me know.
Hey everyone, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
I had a win for this week. I did my first ever valuation and it is amazing, but I was nervous at the same time. I was nervous, I was overthinking and I was like, you know what, let me go as I am. I'm me. And yeah, it went well. It was amazing. And yeah, hopefully I'm gonna have more valuations. I actually have another valuation coming up in the next month. And yeah, it's amazing. I think I'm getting valuations because this year I'm focusing on my area. I'm focusing on one area. I'm not all over the place like last year. So yeah, that is a win for me.
Oh, that's amazing, Zizi. I'm so proud of you. And Zizi actually got one valuation, and out of that one valuation, 2 other valuations came out. So yeah, she got a bonus there. But
Yeah,
well done, Zizi. I'm super proud of you.
thank you so much. It just shows like when I went to the valuation with Shanae, I was like, can you believe that I actually reached out to 101, because the people that live in that building are 101 people, and only one person replied saying, yes, can you please come through? So yeah, it just shows that you can reach out to like people that are living in an apartment building and you will get that one yes. So
Yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing. And it just shows that, you just have to work through all the no's to get to that one yes. And then you get your motivation again. And from there, you'll get yeses again. So it's really, I think Amanda also in the first meeting we had, she said like she had so many no's, but there was a few yeses. So that is what you are going for. So well done. We waste time. So she basically said like it is move-in ready, everything is fine, but there is the electric cables that does bother the buyers. So I said either, you know, if you get a buyer that that is interested, but the electric cables bothers them, but not so much, just tell them, you know, think like what is the offer you would like to put in, and then we'll present to the seller and we'll negotiate. But then another thing, if anyone has a similar situation, maybe find out what the maximum rental income could be if they were to rent out the property, and then rather advertise it as an investment property. Like not only investment property, obviously there will be a buyer that will want to move in, but don't not mention the fact that it could be an investment property. So yeah, that was a question I had for the week that I wanted to share if anyone has a similar situation. And then yeah, that's basically it from me. If anyone has any questions or something to say, you're welcome to unmute your mic. Okay, if not, I'm going to love and leave you guys. Thank you for everyone who participated. And have a blessed Wednesday, and please be safe on the road, Roxy and Princess.